चलो बुलावा आया है, माता ने बुलाया है. There is a song, Vaishnav Devi, that let us all go because the Mother Divine is calling. And as for the parents, their daughter is the Mata. Hari Om. We are looking through the meaning of the pledge. Oh, yeah. It's like, oh. So we have come to the second paragraph. How many of you in their smart gadget have not downloaded it yet? If you have a hard copy, it is fine. But the rest of you, so those of you who are new, and this is the last time I'll give you an instruction. Type in cmdfw.org. There'll be a menu displayed. Click that menu. In the drop down, you will find resources. In that resources, there will be a sub menu which will be handbooks and forms, or forms and handbooks. Click that. There will be a page that will open. The first link, click here for the handbook 2015-2016. There will be probably a Adobe sign. Click that and it should start downloading. And if it is not downloaded, maybe on your smart gadget you have a pop-up blocker. Remove that pop-up blocking for a while. Let this be permitted, and voila, you have your document ready. Was the instruction clear? Was it too fast? Should I re-instruct? Okay. Once you have the folder, page number 121 in the folder. Sorry, not 121, 21. He's the one who creates that folder and he's like, I did not put 121 pages. Page number 21. Second paragraph. We live honestly the noble life of sacrifice and service, producing more than what we consume and giving more than what we take. Many of the kids who have grown up in Chinmay Mission, in their 12th grade, they have to write an essay for as many colleges that they apply, that many essays that they have to write. And surprisingly, I find about 80-90% of them base their personal statement in that essay, and I find a component of this pledge often repeated there. They base their entire essay based off of this. And one of the statements that I have seen often used is producing more than what we consume, giving more than what we take. So in understanding this paragraph, honesty, how do we define honesty? Wow. What a silence. Still waiting. How does one define honesty? I could not honestly hear anything.
Clearly conveying the facts according to your perception. Clearly conveying the facts.
Clearly conveying the facts according to your perception. Anybody? Telling the truth as is.
something that can be sometimes bitter.
Sometimes that truth can be bitter.
Consistently following values,
Consistency in following values.
being truthful to oneself,
Being truthful to oneself. Volume, sir.
saying it as it is.
Saying it as is. Sometimes when I am dealing with your children, especially in the high school and up, I get into a situation wherein, like you also probably, when you give them instructions, do this, don't do this, this is how you have to go through doing this. And they sometimes, in their own free spirit of exploration and trying to find things on their own, they end up doing things which is not as instructed, and sometimes land in a situation wherein it is completely messed up. One thing that I have to appreciate the kids growing up here, that however difficult the situation be, they do come back and tell their parents, which would probably be like this: Mom, Dad, I need to tell you something. Siri? Man, she's competing with me unnecessarily. Mom, Dad, I need to tell you something, but promise me you will not get angry. Am I anywhere on the near the bullseye? And then as they are spilling the beans, as they say, as they are revealing, you are like trying to put a Chandramukhi face, but then Jwalamukhi is coming. You're trying to be as peaceful as possible, but then you're getting really irritated. And then they'll in between also, see, you're changing, your face is changing. Don't get angry. You told me you'll not get angry. And then you cannot contain any further, and then you burst out. What is wrong with you? And in that heated exchange, they say, at least I'm being honest. And you are now tongue tied, like, yes, they are being honest. And if I go any harsh now, even this bridge of communication may be lost. So you are in a loss of words as to how do I handle this? So when they play this one on me, this trick on me, I tell them, look, I appreciate your honesty, but understand that honesty will flourish, will be productive, will be useful only if it is born out of a platform of integrity and not the lack of. Integrity in Sanskritam is called Trikarana Shuddhi. Integrity meaning integrated. Integrating what? Trikarana Shuddhi. Three means three. The English must have taken three from here. Three. Karana. Karana means instrument. Shuddhi is purification. Here specifically it means alignment. What are the three instruments that we are talking about? Manasa, Vacha, Karmana. Thought, word and deed should be in one alignment. The integration between these three should be meticulous. To a middle school group in one of the lock-ins, I was trying to explain this concept, and this kid has a twinkle of mischief in his eyes, and he shoots his hand up. He says, so if I think of slapping someone and I say that I want to slap and I end up slapping, As I tell you, in every class there is one such. So does it mean that I have the complete alignment of thought, word and deed? So since then I have started adding one more line, which was supposed to be obvious, but to avoid such circumstances, I add that the thought, word and deed should be in alignment with righteous endeavor, should be in alignment with dharma, to righteousness. Such a strong platform of integrity, honesty expressed, that honesty will be a productive, useful, constructive honesty. To be honest about lack of integrity will not serve any purpose. So when they tell me that they are being honest, I said, I appreciate your honesty, only wish that it was born from integrity and not the lack of. Does it make sense? I have done something wrong, I have messed up. I'm being honest about it. No, the honesty starts from your intention. Honesty starts from your thought. Honesty starts from your processing of that thought and how you word it and how you express that in your day-to-day action. It requires courage to accept that you have messed up. What you are expressing is not honesty. It is a courage that you are expressing that you have messed up. Are you getting slight difference? A very narrow margin of difference. So with that honesty, O Lord, we would want to lead a life which is filled with nobility, noble life. What do we recognize as a life filled with nobility? When do we recognize it as noble? Our actions, our words, our deed, when do we recognize them as noble? What makes a deed noble deed? When it is righteous, when it is selfless and humble, serving others, serves mankind. What else? Without any expectation. Without any expectation or personal gain. So we understand what nobility is. Meaning, on one hand, we have to put in an effort. What is the purpose of us getting together here? To understand where is the flaw in our seamless processing. Is it at the thought? Is it at the word? Is it at the action? Or is it all of the above? Recognizing the problem, fixing it, creating a strong foundation, and then flourishing it with positive qualities. See, whenever we celebrate Navaratri, Devi Navaratri, Navaratri means 9 evenings. There are various traditions. One of the most prominent tradition is the first 3 days we worship. Okay, before we go there. On the Navaratri days, which form of Devi is worshipped? What are the different forms that are worshipped? Durga, Lakshmi and Saraswati. The first 3 days we worship Durga Devi. So what is the purpose there? What is her duty? What is Durga Devi's main job?
Give us strength.
Now, all three of them give strength. What is her main focus? Remove the tamasic nature. Durga, Durgati Harini, the one who removes all negative tendencies and patterns from within. The first 3 days is a self-purification process of cleaning oneself up from within. We invoke Durga Devi. The next 3 days is when we worship Lakshmi Devi. Now, why do we worship Lakshmi Devi? I see lips moving, but your sounds are not reaching me. Prosperity. Ah, da, 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 da. No, please don't try. How do you connect it? Durga Devi means, not Durga Devi, Lakshmi Devi means not just bank balance, which is what we usually associate with as money. But there are different forms of Lakshmi. We say Ashtamaha Lakshmi. Ashtamaha Lakshmi, like Dhana Lakshmi, Dhanya Lakshmi, Saubhagya Lakshmi, Santana Lakshmi, Sri Lakshmi, Vijaya Lakshmi. I mean, they're all not South Indian names. They're all different aspects of Lakshmi Devi and her resourcefulness. So we are invoking these positive qualities and filling that cleaned up space with positive virtues, positive qualities. Then channelizing it by invocation of Saraswati Devi with Sat Vidya or Sat Buddhi. Channelizing it so that all this resourcefulness pooled up, nourished, can be geared up towards something higher and nobler. So the first sentence, we live honestly, is to remove all the discrepancies and create that integrated personality. And then the noble life, all the noble qualities are nourished. Once they are nourished, how should it be channelized? It should be channelized for something greater, something higher. See, as we move in life, as we grow, different age group, as we move into, our priorities change. And because I predominantly deal with that 18 to 28 age group, usually when people drive me around, I'm not that scared. But this one fellow, when he drove, I literally had to catch hold of something. A very scary, rash driving. And he got married. And still that pattern did not change. He would live life on edge. Like never give signals, never, just rash weaving through, and when in the turning, like hardly applying the brake, like drift. So, and the Tokyo drift, not Dallas drift. So that was the drifter. And he got married and still the patterns remain the same. Because that is the age wherein they are completely self-centered. Me, my joy, my fun. And suddenly one day when he was driving me, I saw him give signal. I looked at him in wonderment. And further my jaw dropped when at the turning, he braked and turned very smoothly in. I still kept gaping at him and I said, "What is wrong? Are you okay?" And he said, "Well, I was thinking of telling this to you after reaching home, but since you are giving me that kind of look, I'll have to reveal my wife she's conceived. I looked at the car. She's not in the car, buddy. And I have not conceived. Drive your usual self. And he's like, no, Swamiji. I practice to drive carefully now so that even when she is there, I don't have to consciously put an extra effort. It becomes an automated process. Suddenly, the wife is now becoming a mother, and the priority immediately changes. It is no more my fun, my joy, my way of life. It suddenly starts accommodating for the next possibility. And now the child is born. I was at somebody's house where they had a newborn baby, an infant. And that is when I understood what sleeping like a baby actually meant. Half an hour of sleep and 2 hours of crankiness. Quack, 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 all night long. Just to get into sleep, again starts. Whoever made that statement, I slept like a baby. Which part, the half an hour part or the 2 hour part? And then you take turns in waking up along with the kid and taking that, to comfort the kid, put him back to sleep. I should see them at that time, that initial 6 month to 9 month period after delivery. They're walking, talking, moving like zombies. Huh? What happened? Child, Swamiji, child happened. 5, 6-year-old. And then we start. Best of East, best of West. Tap dancing or ballet. And then Bharatanatyam. Piano, violin. No, we'll come to that. Don't ruin the fun in going to the sequence. Then sports, soccer, football, basketball, chess. Sometimes inadvertently they think that even golf is a sport. It is a beautiful walk ruined over a small stupid ball. Well, they teach that also. Or swimming, various sports. Then comes spelling bee, mathematics bee, geography bee. I didn't know that all these bees existed. And in order to get better score at school and grip at subject, so Chinese math, Kumon, what else? All these different math classes. On the top of it, Sunday, Chinmaya Mission. At least the other places, you can drop the kids off and you are 1.5 hours free. But here, this fellow, orange blob, sitting there, forces us to sit, both couples sit there. See, to look at this whole environment with a different perspective. When you pay for the Balavihar fees, you are paying for how many kids? 1, max 2 kids. So they are getting their worth. Whatever I am spending on you, buy 2, get 2 free. You're not being charged for it. It's coming free. Maybe I should start charging. Should I? Wow. This is the spirit of our Indian giving. I'm talking about giving, sharing, sacrificing, producing more than what you can consume and giving more than what you can take. Smack into my face. Thank you, man. Reality speaks. Yo. The honest, hurtful truth. That was blunt courage. That was definitely blunt courage. Now I will use this as example in other sessions. Once I was explaining this, and this fellow said this. We add all these. So between the couple, like you have to draw, pick, and who becomes the priority. And sometimes we don't even mind rubbing it into the children's face. Day in and day out, I sweat and toil and slog. For whose sake do you think? Do you think while growing up I had all these things? I'm providing it for you. Take it. No, I don't have any hearing devices in your houses. If you are looking at it, there are a couple of you are like, and looking at the spouse like, exactly same dialogue. So I don't need to ask, was I on mark? Was I on mark? Absolutely. We don't even mind rubbing it into them because we do change our priority. But the deeper that we go, the greater that we find that resource within, higher should be the responsibility, wherein our priority we have changed towards our family, our kids. Being a part of this community, being a part of this society, being a part of this nation, there are higher responsibilities that we should cater to. And when we turn our idea, turn our entire resources for that higher contribution, producing more than what we consume, giving more than what we take. And what should be the attitude? That I am readily available to accommodate your needs, sacrificing my comforts. And the greatest example that I can see, couple of examples if we have to see, can be from Ramayana. One example that comes into my mind is Hanumanji. One of the biggest tasks given to Hanumanji was to find Sitaji. Jambavan, Hanuman, Angada, Nala, Neela, a little batch which was exploring down south, reaches to the tip end of South India. And after that, it's all ocean. They're at their wits' end because they don't have any further clue. Meanwhile, there is this vulture, old vulture, which has been waiting because its feathers are burnt. It has been waiting to find a good sumptuous meal. And seeing these monkeys jump around on that seashore, you think, oh Bhagwan, thank you. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagno. He's chanting so that he thought it was food provided by the Lord. And as he swoops down to attack them, they said, hey, look, he looks like our friend Jatayu. And Sampati suddenly puts a break, because Jatayu was his brother. Then they narrate that story of Jatayu sacrificing his life, being killed by Ravana. I said, I have been seeing for a past month or so a lady on that island. Though I have become old, my vision is impeccable. I can see very clearly there is a woman there crying. That is your next clue. So now how much is the distance? Shata yojana, 100 yojanas. So Jambavan, the oldest one. Now Jambavanji finds his reference in Satya Yuga, in the Treta Yuga, and also in Dwapar Yuga. Same Jambavan. In Dwapar Yuga, where do we find his reference? Not just fighting with Krishna, but he becomes the father-in-law of Krishna. His daughter Jambavati is given in marriage to Bhagwan Krishna. In Treta Yuga, we find him to be associated with the Vanaras, we know. In the Satya Yuga, what is the reference? In the Satya Yuga, there was Vaman Avatar. In the Vaman Avatar, when Lord took the Trivikrama Rupa, when he became large, with one foot he covered earth, with the other foot he covered the higher worlds. So Jambavan says, I was so young and energetic at that time that I did 7 times pradakshina of that feet of the Lord around the earth. That he went around earth non-stop 7 times. He did pradakshina. And like any old person, he also says, Ab to bhaiya main buddha ho gaya. Now I have become old. I don't have such capacities. Angada says, I can jump 100 yojanas, but I only have reserves enough for 1 jump. I can get across there, but I don't know if I can come back. Nala Nila say we only can jump 25 yojanas, beyond which our capacity doesn't exist. Hanumanji is sitting on the side. Jambavan goes and inspires him. And Hanumanji takes a big form, jumps off. And in the Swarga, they're debating, can he really accomplish it? Does he have the capacity? So let us test him. So they employ beta testers. What was the first test that was provided to Hanumanji? Very good. Give him a good hand. The first test was Mainaka Parvata. It rises from the ocean, provides a beautiful scenery, nice, like a resort, white sands, a beautiful place too. And she addresses Hanumanji and says, Beta, your father has been quite a help to me. And he has helped me in more than 1 occasions. You're taking a long journey. Why don't you take a break, spend some time, take rest, and then continue your journey? What Hanumanji did, I'll tell you later. If you were there in that position, what would we have done? I said, for the flying miles free. I didn't ask for it, they invited. Maybe I'll take a break and then also inquire, is there a free spa, massaging and other things available? Maybe in the morning have some idli, dosa, vada, breakfast and then fly. Hanumanji says something very beautiful. He says, Ram kaj kije binu, mohi kaha bisram. I have taken up a responsibility. I am working for Lord Ramchandra ji. Until I have fulfilled that responsibility, I don't think I deserve any break. Now that you have offered it, I'll take a rain check. I'll come back sometimes when it is really necessary. But at this point, oh mother, thank you, but no thanks. As he passes Mainaka, there's a second test. What is the second test? Arre wah, Give him a good hand. And somebody else also said, I'm feeling really encouraged because I'm getting answers. A rarity in itself. Surasa. Who was Surasa? Now you may say, Swamiji, now you're asking too many questions. Who was Surasa? Mother of the Nagas. Are wah. Good. Mother of the serpents. So she comes in this form wherein she says, Lord has blessed me that anything that flies past me has to go into my mouth. It is my food. Poor word, choice of words. So he says, oh, if that is the case, then he increases, doubles his size. She picks up the challenge and she makes it 4 times bigger. And he makes it 8 times bigger. She makes it 16 times. He makes it 40. She makes it 80. And suddenly, Mashaka Rupa Dhari. First time I read it, I was like, oh, in those days there were mosquitoes and they must have been troublesome. Mashaka means a mosquito. Mashaka Rupa Dhari suddenly transforms himself to a tiny mosquito form, enters into her mouth and comes out saying that I entered your mouth. If you did not close it, that ain't my problem. You were sloppy, not closing your mouth. Bye. And he leaves her. And as he is proceeding further, there is a third. And what is the third? Usually first two everybody say. Arey wah. तृप्ति से भर गया भाई दिल. Please give him a good hand. Lankini alias Chaya Grahini Rakshasi. She had this capacity that anything that was flying, casting a shadow, she could catch hold of that shadow and pull them down with the shadow to make that her meal. She catches hold of Hanumanji and starts pulling, and instead of resisting it, Hanumanji free falls. And she is not able to handle the momentum. He smacks her into the ocean and flies out, killing her. As soon as he lands to the Lanka shores, a final test. Who was the fourth one? Oh, fourth one is Lankini. The other one is Simhika. So Lankini grabs Hanumanji and she says something which irritates Hanumanji to no extent. I love what Tulsidas ji says. That's the best portion of Sundarkanda, Tulsi Ramayana. He says, Tab diyo do satsang. He gave her 2 satsangs. What does the satsang here mean? A left jab and a right hook. And she faints. She wakes up and says, I understood. I've gained my knowledge. So satsang can be of different formats. Okay, what is happening here is called Sattvik Satsanga. I am quite capable of the Rajasic one as well. Try me. If your cell phones go off, then you will see the other Satsanga. So Lankini wakes up saying, I remember now when I was cursed, Brahmaji had told me that whenever a monkey will give you a satsanga, that is when your time on Lanka is done. And the bad days for Lanka or the days for Lanka are numbered. Thus saying, she leaves. Now through all this, if you look at it, all his strength, all his resources and all his humility is geared up towards what? For serving a higher cause, for serving his Lord Ramachandra ji. So much so that when he would introduce, he would not call himself as Hanuman, but rather introduce himself as Ramadut, the servant of Lord Sri Ramachandra ji. Giving up his comfort and putting all his resources to fulfill the responsibility of Lord. Now, the second example, he is also known as the angry young man of Ramayana. Who is it? Lakshmana. But when we look at why did he get angry, it was not because he was in discomfort, therefore he got irritated and angry. Before he starts the 14 years along with Ramji and Sita ji, he has a dialogue with his wife. What is his wife's name? Areva. Today I'll sleep really well. His wife's name is Urmila. He says, I have to go serve the Lord. Therefore, can you take my share of Nidra Devi with you? Sleep on my behalf so that day and night I can serve Bhagwan. So he was not afraid, he was not irritated because of his discomfort ever. Whenever there was something that was disturbing the Lord, agitating the Lord, or becoming the cause for pain and sorrow, he would be quite agitated. One great example that we can see, Shurpanakha. So all the mothers sitting here, I'm having my disclaimer here, okay? Don't get angry at me. What is the meaning of Shurpanakha? Shurpa means the winnow, with which you separate the lighter husk and the grain. You soup bolte Hindi mein. That is the reason why Lord Ganesha has got the name Shurpa Karna, the one who has that shaped ears. Shurpa means that which is wide and long. Nakha means nails. So all those who have long, wide nails, hint, French manicure, they can be titled as, I didn't say it, they said it. So Shurpanakha goes and challenges Ramji, and then Ramji sends her to Lakshmana, and it happens 3 times, and Lakshmanji, finally irritated, cuts her ears and nose. He never gets irritated for his discomfort. He readily gives it up. To accommodate for, to be able to give one's own resources, one's own abilities, giving up even the most comfortable environment for the sake of achieving something higher, nobler. When that attitude, when that spirit is built, not just in the children, not just in the next generation, but as a family, when that spirit is built in the entire family, and such families come together, can you imagine the positive, productive output into the society as a comprehensive effort that we all can put together? Changing the constitution, not much change can be brought in unless the change is brought in at the individual level. Here Gurudev would have said that change a man, you have changed an individual. Change the mother, and you have changed the entire family. And that is why, though we charge you for 2 kids, parents, it is free. Because service has to be free. It is only in this country that capitalism, which has taught us, in the receipt we will find service fee. They forgot an R there. service free. Because when you do that service in bringing that integrity, bringing that oneness in the individual, in the family, together, when all such families gather and channelize their resources, what can be achieved, what can be contributed, can be a mammoth size, which is unfathomable. Which is what was the purpose of a temple back in the ancient era. That when the temple was built, early release. Oh, you have been called for. Chalo bulawa. Are the parents in any trouble? Okay. Good, good, good. So, getting together, aligning ourselves, we can be bringing all our resources and putting it to the best use. In the temples, that was how it was structured, that it was the center not just for spiritual activity, that it was a center for spirituality, it was a center for religious, it was a center for the cultural, it was a center for economics, it was a hub for socio-economic welfare programs. It was the hub that you support and get supported by that system. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. And it is the same kind of infrastructure brought in through this platform, wherein we produce more than what we consume and give more than what we take. We have 5 minutes. Any questions within the syllabus? You know, right? Whenever there is no questions asked, I find it 3 possibilities. 1, सब कुछ समझ में आ गया, understood everything. 2nd, understood nothing. 3rd, slept well. I hope that it is the first one. One of the best responses that I ever got, after that I have stopped asking that question. So after the class, I asked someone that I knew, how was it today? So he gave me a very peculiar answer. बहुत अच्छा था पर कुछ समझ में नहीं आया. I'm like, huh? It was too good, but it didn't make even a little bit of sense. So hopefully it was not like that. No questions?
Trying to relate what you said in terms of looking at 4 types of ashrama. Brahmacharya ashrama, Grihastha ashrama. As a Grihastha, we understand how to relate for either Brahmacharya or Vanaprastha, concept of feeling more than what you take from that particular ashrama.
This is being specifically spoken to the Grihastha. Now in Brahmacharya, the best way that you can give is stop being the cause for nuisance to the society. That is the aim. You have to focus on learning. So, sukharthinaha vidyam tyajet, vidyarthinaha sukham tyajet. If you are a vidyarthi, a student, which is what brahmacharya is supposed to be meant for, give up the idea of enjoying life. Learn, equip, educate yourself. Having thus nourished, you become a positive contributor. There's a possibility of you becoming a positive contributor in your phase after brahmacharya. So not being the nuisance is a great contribution. Brahmacharya. Now, vanaprastha is when there is a tremendous demand of attention. In vanaprastha, when we can grow, wherein we don't seek that attention and stabilize ourselves and live independently, so that that independent life can be focused on Bhagavat Seva or the name of the Lord. That independent living and not pestering the next generation for various reasons and that would be the greatest contribution. And to such, and the sannyasa, to take care of all these three ashramas, whose responsibility is it? The grihastha ashrama. So grihastha, it does not mean that it is just the wedding or marriage between a boy and a girl. Yes, definitely it is a marriage between the boy and the girl, but the responsibilities that they are signing up for. If you go through the wedding mantras, neither the Purohitji knows it nor the one getting married cares for it. If you hear mantras and their meaning, you would say, hey, wait, I did not sign up for all those. If all this is entailed, then I don't want to get married. Wherein both husband and wife promise to each other that except for moksha, which is individual, the rest, dharma, artha, kama, we will put that efforts together. Nati charami, nati charitavya. So there are mantras. We'll put our efforts together so that we can take the higher responsibility of supporting the entire society, which includes brahmacharya, vanaprastha and sannyasa. So as a sannyasi, who should I look up to for my... all of you. And the funny thing is that I have to teach the grihastha how to take care and then get taken care of. Which is fine. But your question is answered. Okay, good. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari.